What's up, everybody? PJ Braun here, president of Blackstone Labs, aka Lord Braun. And I don't start the show, but this week I am. Because you guys asked for it, you guys got it. Josh Viola is the full-time new superstar stud host of the show. You didn't like Chris Herron, apparently. You wanted him out. He's fucking out. Josh is fucking in. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'm turning it over to my new host. There was one Chris Herron fan. Did we find out if it was male or female?
It was a robot.
It was a male?
It was male. It was a real person. It wasn't a troll.
We're not sure if it was a person. It was a person?
It was.
Oh, it was? So one of you actually wanted Chris back.
No, I think it was a bot that Chris Herron programmed.
Chris Herron didn't want to do it anyway, just if you guys are curious. So.
He was semi-relieved.
Yeah, he was semi-relieved. He's got a lot of customer service work to do. So, right. Are you happy about your new spot over here?
I am very excited to see the debauchery and shenanigans that come with this duo.
Is it cutting into your work for your actual job?
It's cutting into some of the Legion questions I'm getting about different things, and but mostly the people that are applying to the Legion without sending in a damn picture.
Yeah, guys, come on.
You
got to
gotta
send pictures in. Also, guys, we'll talk more about the Legion at the end because we want to answer the questions. But when you contact me and I tell you to contact Josh, and he doesn't get back to you like fast, you have to give him 24 hours, and he's got a lot to do. He runs all the social media, and he's running the Legion program, and a lot of you are reaching out to him. So it's extremely busy. Now I have him doing this too, and he's trying to have some sort of life. So I think most customer service runs like 9 to 6 or something like that. I mean, there's a downtime. So give him 24 hours before you start DMing me asking why you're not getting responses, because my DMs are insane. I can't even keep up with them. So be patient. If I told you you're in, you're in.
I do try to get it back to everybody as fast as possible. If it's been more than like 24 or 48 hours and I haven't gotten back to you, there's a solid chance that it's gotten buried by other people who are asking why they haven't gotten back to you in 24 or 48 hours. So I mean, if it's something like that, and it's been more than 48 hours and I haven't gotten back to you, feel free to go ahead and send another message to the Blackstone Labs Instagram or another email to sponsor@blackstonelabs.com, and I'll get you taken care of.
Yes, and for those of you that have been listening to the show and following along each week, we also record this and put it on YouTube. So if you want to see how handsome my co-host is, also check out my vest.
Oh, damn.
That's for the YouTubers over there. That's for all the YouTube loves me.
Hype vest.
They hate me. They hate me on YouTube.
They love to hate you.
All right, so I want to talk, before we get into the questions, I want to talk about Game of Thrones, because everyone loves Game of Thrones. I don't know if you love Game of Thrones.
I actually am in that 0.1% of the population that just does not care.
That's where I was for a long time. And finally, many years after, I'm very late to the party. I was also late to the party with Breaking Bad and wound up becoming my favorite show of all time. I became obsessed with Game of Thrones. And I have a serious man crush on Jon Snow. And I kept on saying, when the fuck are Jon Snow and Khaleesi going to just hook up? And everybody here is diehard Game of Thrones. Grant, who does my labels, has seen every episode a minimum of 4 or 5 times. They've all read the books. I mean, they're diehard, right? So they're like, this guy's a weirdo for not watching Game of Thrones. So I power watched it. I was watching 4 episodes a night. And I developed this love for Jon Snow, and I don't see how anyone could not love Khaleesi, but David doesn't think she's hot at all. He said the eyebrows ruin it for her.
Okay.
I love her eyebrows.
I think for me personally, the reason why I can't get into it is I'm not. It's like the slaying dragons, the whole era of that time. I just I want to see people shoot each other.
I mean, dragons are pretty sick. They blow fire on people.
That's true. That's true.
Well, here's the thing. They did a very good job at not spoiling anything for me, which I appreciate. Which I know is difficult because they talk about it all a lot.
No, I see that they get so hyped up when you come in I saw episode whatever in season whatever, and they're like, what is that? That's so exciting. I don't know what, I can't tell you yet.
So I was the other day I was man, I'm starting to get really annoyed with what they're doing with Jon Snow, and I just don't like where he's at with Khaleesi, and he's a prisoner there, and those of you who've watched Game of Thrones know what I'm talking about, and I'm I just want them to fuck so bad. I feel like they got to give that to me. They killed him on me, pissed me off, and they brought him back. I was really happy about that. And they've teased me a couple times with scenes where I was oh, they're going to make out.
I'm sure you can find that shit on Pornhub.
That's what Salvino was saying. She was I'm sure in your morning sessions when I'm sleeping that you can find these things on your little website.
Somebody has definitely acted that out.
It's not the same. So finally, in the season finale of the last season that's even out there, so I'm done with watching every episode, and I have to wait till 2019. Finally, like a boss, my favorite character, Jon Snow, knocked on Khaleesi's door. She opened the door, and he just fucked her.
Slayed a dragon.
Yes, he slayed her dragon. He slayed the fucking mother of dragons.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, he went to the top.
Dragon Mother Slayer.
She's the
Alright.
breaker of chains.
Do you want to
big
start
deal.
getting into the first question here?
Yes, let's get off of this. The bullshit.
We'll get off of the dragon slaying.
Let's answer some real questions here. Let's do it.
All right, this one is from Brian Bell about the weight loss diet. He says, I received the weight loss diet for the program. I'm 6 foot at 226 pounds. The diet is supposedly a keto diet. It only contains 15 grams of added fat. The other concern is the diet is roughly 1,350 calories, not counting veggies. I realize this is a generic diet, but I cannot function on 1,350 calories a day, especially starting a 12-week diet. Curious to hear your thoughts, Brian.
All right, so I put this question first for a reason. I owe a lot of you an apology, and it is my fault, but it isn't my fault, and I will explain. I did a sit-down session with Ryan Niesky where I told him to record me, but he took shorthand notes of everything that I was saying, and I was like, dude, I think you should just record me. Like, just turn your phone on, record me. And I detailed out the diets the way that I wanted them to be. Two of the... How many diets are there? 4?
Yeah, men's...
Whatever. 2 of the diets, and this being one of them, are actually incorrect. So, thank God I read the questions first this week, because I was going to tell this guy, Brian, and I apologize, I was going to be like, idiot, you didn't read it right. And in fact, I'm the idiot, because I didn't take the time to look at how they sent it out to everybody. And I just assumed I was very detailed in the way that I spoke, because I was like, look, I'm not typing all this out. Somebody else is going to do it. I'm like, I will give you all the information. I was like, I don't type fast. Somebody can either record me. I have a lot of things to do, but here's how I want it to be. Well, my notes were right, because I compared the notes to what was sent out. My notes were right. The diet was wrong. There's supposed to be 15 grams of fat at every meal on that diet. So here's what we're doing now. Thank you, Brian, for even asking this question, because I wouldn't have known that a lot of people would have a pretty glaring mistake on a couple of the diets. Now, like I said, half the diets were fine. So to the people that got incorrect diets, you're going to get a diet update straight from the Ask PG Braun email. It'll all come to you within the next 24 hours. The guys are working on it now. I just went through everything closely before I did the radio show. This kind of, excuse my language, it just fucked up my whole afternoon because I had to go through everything. It slowed me down. I wanted to be pretty much done recording by now. I'm going to have to probably speak a little faster than I want to, but whoever's on those 2 particular plans, you guys are going to be getting diet updates that I fixed today and be on your way properly. So thank you, Brian, for pointing that out.
And the next question is possibly special to me because I believe I know this guy, and he used to be my customer when I was in the call center. His name is Dmitry,
Okay.
and he's from Russia. He says, hello, PJ. I met a new fitness coach in Moscow. He studied in the medical university for 10 years and works now as a fitness coach. He told me that when you're on cycle, you don't have to kill the estrogen. Women's estrogen like estradiol or prolactin is supposed to be in our body. You can use estrogen inhibitors if they are very, very high, but if they are normal in value, you don't want to do anything because he knows a guy who blocked estrogens to a very low value and he stopped growing. His cycle was wasted. What normal dosage for Eradicate to keep the estrogens in a normal low level, not too low? Would like to know your opinion. Thanks for your time, PJ. Really good to have you back.
Thank you. I appreciate that. He is correct. Your estrogen should be not lower than 35. If you were at 35, you were on the money. Congratulations to you if you are. If you are very, very low, your body will get all screwed up. And he is correct. You will not grow. Conservative dose of Eradicate, 1 in the morning, 1 at night. That's a conservative dose.
Next question comes from Hunter Richards. He says, hey, PJ, really digging listening to the podcast. When I realized it was available on SoundCloud, I binge listened to all 8 episodes, trying to absorb as much information as possible. I have talked with you on Instagram before, but figured I should ask my more complex question here. I'm just now settling from an exciting and very harsh weight loss period in my life where I dropped from almost 190 down to just above 130. For a 5'11 guy, 130 is a little small. I have been working for just under a year to slowly and steadily gain up to about 155. I've been calculating my TDEE and eating almost exactly 2,798 following a simple 40-40-20 split. And I currently supplement with a standard whey protein after my workouts, creatine HCl daily, as well as Blackstone Labs antigenin. I'm not gaining weight as consistently as I would like to. I'm seeing my body fat percentage and muscle mass fluctuate significantly between 2 to 5% on a monthly basis. So to get my real question, do you have any nutrition or supplement tips for a little guy trying to pack on consistent clean mass? Thanks for being so helpful and accessible all the time, Hunter.
Thank you. My advice to you is to slowly and steadily increase your calories daily. And I would do it with all the macronutrients. I wouldn't. You don't have to just add protein. People are like, oh, you need more protein. That's not the way to do it. You just need more calories. So for each one of your meals, let's just say, just for math purposes, let's say you were eating, 35 grams of protein, 50 grams of carbs, 10 grams of fat, right? Simply go up, add 5 grams at each meal. Just doing that alone, getting those calories in, you should see some growth, and just gauge it from there. And you should be able to know when to peel back as well also, because if you add in the calories and you start seeing yourself getting softer and you're not happy with it, well then you kind of pushed it too aggressive and you pull back. I always did things in very small increments. I was never like, okay, I'm going to add a whole meal in. Now sometimes you may get to a point where you need to stimulate your body to not only grow but also kick up your metabolism, which in the end will lead to more muscle because you'll be able to eat more anyway. By just doing a refeed day. Maybe you need a weekly refeed day where you're really loading up and you're in a caloric surplus. Now, I don't know anything about what you look like or what your ultimate goal is in the end, but I'm not going to tell you, oh, take this Blackstone Lab supplement. I'm going to tell you need to eat more food.
The next question comes from Evan. It's a cycle question. He says, I started taking the Hardcore Muscle Stack about 3 weeks ago. I've been taking 1 Methaquad, 1 Chosen One, and 1 Gear Support in the AM before my workout, 3 growth at night every day for the last 21 days. Is this the correct dosage and way to take this stack? Am I doing it incorrectly? I am following the diet plan and I take about 1 to 2 rest days a week. I plan on starting my PCT after 30 days and continue taking the Gear Support. Thanks for the support. Loving the results, Evan.
Well, I'm glad that you're loving the results because you're on kind of half the doses of what you need. You can absolutely stick to what you're doing. He's only doing 1 Chosen One a day?
Yeah, 1 Methaquad, 1 Chosen One, 1 Gear Support.
I mean, you're super conservative. The proper dosage of Chosen One is 2 a day. And honestly, a lot of people take 4 a day.
And I take 3 Methaquad pre-workout.
Yeah, same thing. Methaquad, it's made to be able to give the average person solid results at 1 a day. But again, many people are taking 2 a day or more of that one. I know people that take 4.
Yep.
We try to go conservative on there because we've learned that you guys are going to take more than anything. And I'm like that too. I'll read anything in life, I'll get it and I'll read the directions. And I'm like, I must need double. If I go to, if my back hurts and it says take 1 to leave, I take 2.
Well, I think with the Methaquad, really what happened was here when we tried it, we all loved the 1 pre-workout.
Yeah.
And then we're like, well, I wonder if 2 would be a little
Of course.
better.
But the marketing behind it is I wanted a 1 a day pill for muscle growth. I was like, I want like Anadrol. You just pop an Anadrol, you're gonna fucking grow.
Absolutely.
And that's what my mindset was at with Methaquad. If you're doing 2 Chosen One a day, you can get away with 1 Methaquad. If you want to go hard and put on muscle, I would do 2 of each in the morning and 2 of each later on at night. That's still fairly conservative.
All right. The next question is.
And you're doing the Gear Support right, by the way.
Is from Sway. He says, I started my diet for the men's fat burner a couple weeks ago in, I believe, the first week of January, and I have lost the shit weight. I am 5'4", went from 147 to 140, give or take a pound or 2 throughout the day. I'm following your workouts from previous years, badass workouts of the week, 6 days a week, hitting 30 minutes of steady state cardio immediately after training, 5 out of 6 of those days, rests on Sunday. My question is, what would you recommend I do, if any changes at all? By the way, I've been following your diet down to the vitamins and all. Only change I made was eating 7 ounces of protein for each of those 3 solid meals. I had asked a few weeks ago if that was a good modification, which you kindly responded to. Try your serving size for a while on the last episode. With your hiatus, I had already done this for about 3 weeks, and I do not know if I should raise the serving size at this point or stick to what I had been eating. Hope you're feeling better, by the way. Glad to see the cardio Q&A back. Love Trojan Horse so far. Sway.
Awesome, thank you. Honestly, this probably isn't what you want to hear, but it seems like you're doing everything right, and it seems like you're happy with the results. So, why fix it if it ain't broke? That's what I always say. If you want me to elaborate more, jump on the Q&A or submit another question. But it seems like everything's working out, so I say leave it as it is.
Next one comes from Johnny. He says, what's up, PJ? Recently fallen off the wagon in the last 6 months, gained about 40 pounds, making me 240. Previously was about 200 from transitioning into work life from school. Have started a physical job as an electrician apprentice. I have trouble finding my perfect amount of calories to cut on because I either lose no weight or even by just dropping calories by a few hundred, I feel way too depleted after about a week. How would you go about this task caloric-wise, and which form of cardio do you think I should do? Appreciate everything you do for the community. Love every single Blackstone product I've ever tried. You're awesome, John.
Hell yeah, awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. Here's the thing, man. The first week of a diet's going to suck really bad no matter what. Actually, the first 2 weeks might suck. I just started, so I took a hiatus, and you guys know that. And So I was like, man, I'm gonna do this fucking contest because I'm tired of not feeling good about myself, and I'm tired of not liking how I look anymore, and I just don't feel good. So I was gonna wait until Monday this week, but when Victor came in last week, so some of you guys might know that Victor Martinez came in here to hang out with me for a while last week. Hadn't seen him in a long time, and there was a point where I was never as big or good as him, but I was close to as big as him. Never as good as him, but I was close to as big as him. I mean, I was a huge guy, and I'm not anymore. And I don't need to be huge, but I'd like to be shredded, and I'd like to look like I bodybuild. And I achieved that for a very long period of time, and I let it go because of things that I had going on in my life. And I knew that psychologically that I would get it back. I just didn't know when. And when I saw Victor, I told Fabian and my dad, I was like, I'm going to the gym today. And Fabian was like, good, go. He was like, the doctors don't know you. Only you really know you. I was like, the doctors didn't want me to do shit until Monday. And he was like, go to the gym. And I went to the gym. I had an awesome workout, and I have not taken a day off since then. And I'll tell you, I started dieting. I jumped on a keto diet. I'm hungry. I really am. I'm hungry. My body hurts. But I know that after, 3, 4, 5 more days of this, that's all going to pass. And I'm going to start feeling really good. And I'm going to start noticing, I'm actually already noticing changes in the mirror. I've been around the block with this shit for 25 years, so I'm going to be able to change faster than you guys. It's just the way it is. But I'm seeing progress already, and it's making me feel good, so I don't care about being hungry or tired, because I'm going to just push through it. And your body starts adapting, and you'll get to a point where you won't be hungry anymore. And if you do a ketogenic diet, you're always hungry in the beginning. That's just the way it is. Your body adjusts, and that's why so many people don't stick with it. But if you just stick with it, you're gonna feel so good, and you're gonna thank me in the end. I've had so many people be like, I can't do it, I can't function at work. I'm like, it's gonna pass, I'm telling you. Some people just deal with it a lot worse than others, and some people, it takes them longer to get into a good ketogenic state. I can get into ketosis in like 3 days. But a lot of people, it's like 5, 6, sometimes even 7 days. So those 7 days are really shitty. And you are going to feel flat and small, but if the objective is to get the fat off, you've got to stick with it. You can't just bail after a week. Your body needs a week just to adjust. That's why whenever I was coaching, and I've coached, without bullshitting you guys, well over 1,000 people. Well over 1,000 people. And I would make them follow a plan that I wrote, no matter what, no matter how good or bad that they felt for 14 days. I didn't want to hear shit. And a lot of times people will be like, after 6, 7 days, like, this is too much food, and I'd be like, just keep eating for 7 more days, I told you. Then in 7 days, they'd be like, oh, I'm not full anymore, I'm actually hungry, and I'd be like, I told you. And then there were people that'd be like, I don't know if this is enough food, I need carbs, I can't function without carbs. And I'm like, it's all in your head, trust me, you're gonna feel really good. And then these are people that became keto advocates for life. So you've got to stick with your plan. Like, I'm telling you, after 2 weeks, you'll get in a zone and you'll feel good. I really believe that with all my heart, because I've done this so much. I've tried to figure out realistically what the actual number is, and it has to be in the thousands, because when I retired, I had 257 active clients, and that was years, into my coaching. So if I went year by year, through the progression, it has to be in the thousands.
All right, next question comes from Letty Acosta. Letty like Betty on Instagram.
Letty, I know Letty.
She says, I'm a bikini competitor
She's
on top with karaoke.
That out there.
I noticed when I took one Paraburn capsule, I would feel nauseous for the most of the day afterwards. I also made sure to take it with a meal and still had the nauseated feeling. I would like it to take it and benefit from it. Do you have any advice?
No, honestly. I don't know why you're getting nauseous from it. It could be from the cayenne, actually, because it's hot. The heat. I don't know if you're sensitive to cayenne pepper. That aggravates certain people, gives certain people heartburn, that product. And it's perhaps from the cayenne pepper that's in there. You may just have to not take it. The Trojan horse should be working for you. And I can look into other things that you could do for fat burning. You can L-carnitine tartrate, which I've always preached. I'm actually going to put out an L-carnitine tartrate product. Now Nutrition makes one that I use currently. But it could be just the cayenne in that product is just too much for you. You might want to try the Viper RX, which is actually out now. It just came in today. I did a video for that. That product may be better suited for you. But if it's bothering you every day with or without food, then I think that you should just stop taking it.
All right, next question comes from Sean. He says, hey PJ, always a pleasure chatting with you on the DM about reptiles, on which my first question focuses. I know you're into tegus and monitors, but would you ever consider getting into bigger snakes like retics? My second question has to do with melatonin, which I use a few times a week. I was doing some research recently and I found a study conducted by MIT saying that the melatonin can cause changes in the cardiovascular and immune system. Do you think there's any truth to that? The study also discussed how when the brain's melatonin receptors are exposed to too much of the hormone, they become unresponsive. So with that being said, how should one effectively use or even cycle the supplement in order for it not to lose its effectiveness? Thanks again for the daily cardio Q&As and the podcast. I'm coming for you in the Beat PJ contest. All the best and glad that you're back on track, Sean.
Thank you, Sean. For starters, I love the people that are really gung-ho about BPJ and beating me. I love it. I've got people calling me out, but it's all positive, and I like that. So, good attitude. As far as like reticulated pythons and Burmese go, would I like one? Absolutely. I have an anaconda that's 7 feet long now. A lot of people don't like anacondas. They're not really good pets, as you know, Josh.
In the same way that like a tiger probably isn't a good pet.
They're neat to look at. Tarzan went right in there yesterday. The real Tarzan was here yesterday, which was fun.
Savage.
And he just went right in and took Samson out and was fucking handling him like nothing.
I like how you were saying that it's just like playing football, though. If you play football, you're eventually going to get a concussion. You play with snakes, you're eventually going to get bit. It's just common sense.
It's very common sense. So they will probably find their way into my life eventually. I'll leave it at that. What I want first is I have some cool stuff. I want a water monitor. There's a few different monitors that I want, but I want it to do it in an enclosure outside. I want them to be able to have a pool to swim in and stuff. I don't want it inside. It's not fair to them. I have a big-ass Savannah monitor that I'm just working on getting enclosures for now. All my big iguanas are outside in nice enclosures. So, you know, like, it's cool when they're little and you can keep them in the tank, even if you have a big-ass tank. But once they start getting, like, 2, 3, 4 feet long, you gotta get them into an enclosure. So I'm kind of, like, taking a break from that kind of stuff. I got a couple snakes that I'm going to get from good old Snake Josh, my boy. Yeah, I mean, I love Burmese. My buddy's got giant Burmese pythons. That's actually who's hooking me up with the vision cages. I mean, his are like 100 pounds. They're huge. And they're young. They're babies still. The thing is with those is like they just don't ever stop growing.
I don't know why you'd want to put yourself in a situation where you'd have to take care of and be around a 100-pound snake.
The real Tarzan has snakes that are over 200 pounds.
That doesn't
They're
sound
like 20 feet long.
smart at all.
They're
It
enormous.
just sounds like a bad idea.
I mean, they'll eat your dog. I mean, that's the thing. It's a whole different responsibility.
I feel like I'm like, 200 pound snake, probably choke me and eat me.
Well,
Probably.
they could definitely, they could do some
work.
Do some work. What was the second part of the question?
Second part of the question was about melatonin.
Oh, and the studies. Honestly, studies like that come out all the time, dude. Everybody uses melatonin. I mean, I find that there's probably a study that'll come out that'll contradict those results. If you're using 1 milligram up to 3 milligrams, I highly doubt you're going to have any issues with that. People have been using melatonin for many, many, many years. I mean, this has been around in the 90s. And now, 30 years later, they're finding some study. I just find that hard to believe. And I'll tell you this. If you take a lot of melatonin, you'll have some really trippy dreams or perhaps nightmares. Like, I've experienced that. I went through some high-dose melatonin phases where I was experimenting, and I went up to 12 milligrams a night, which is a lot because the standard dose is 1 to 3 milligrams. And at 12 milligrams a night, I had horrible nightmares. But there was a study that would show that in mega doses, like minimum 6 grams up to 12 grams, that it would your pituitary gland would pulse out extra growth hormone while you were sleeping. So that was the effect that I wanted to get when I was younger, when I didn't have money for growth hormone, or if I was off, I was like, you know what, I'm going to take a shitload of melatonin.
Bring on the nightmares.
Yeah, bring on the nightmares. Like bad nightmares. Like shit that would make you like question yourself for the rest of the day. Yeah.
It says, hello, I'm on HRT dose of 200 milligrams of test sip and Arimidex. Is there a better dose for fat burning effects? 300 milligrams, 400 milligrams, also any Arimidex tricks? Thanks, Frank.
You're good at 200 milligrams. I'll tell you what though, if you go up to 400 milligrams, you're going to be a lot more anabolic. And if you go up to 400 milligrams, you can start taking a milligram of Arimidex every other day. And for the last 4 or 5 weeks before the Beat PJ finale, do it every day. Because every day on the Arimidex, when you go daily like that, it's going to pull all the water out of you, and it's going to pull fat off of you faster as well, because your estrogen is going to be so low that it's going to release a lot of fat and water out of your body, because estrogen loves fat and water, and you're not going to have the ability to have anything binding in your body. So that's a little trick that all bodybuilders do as they get closer to their contest. They start going daily with their aromatase inhibitors, and just doing that, I think even with no diet changes, you'll see a big change in your physique fast.
Next one comes from Michael Diaz. He says, hey PJ, I need to drop weight, including a lot of shit weight after this holiday season, but due to recent financial setbacks, I can't do some of the more expensive foods like sirloin and premium white fish, etc. What would you say is a good poor man's diet? Carb cycling worked really well for me in the past, so examples of that would really help. Thanks for helping so many people improve their lives.
Thank you. One of the most inexpensive, I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be boring, but one of the most inexpensive diets that I ever did at one point when I was really young and broke is I pretty much lived on chicken and rice. And when I needed fats, I used extra virgin olive oil. So I'm going to break it down for you. I followed the sales, okay? And when I got really advanced in my poor man's diet, I found a friend that worked at Restaurant Depot. And you can get chicken breasts cheap as fuck. You got to buy them in bulk. You got to keep them all in the freezer. But you're going to get it less than $2 a pound. That's very, very cheap. So I was getting chicken for like $1.79 a pound. So I was buying it in bulk. I would save up all my money. I would buy in bulk. And I literally ate chicken and rice for every meal, and I just cycled the carbs. I would get instant rice and just measure it out and make instant rice for all my meals, and that's super cheap if you do it like that. You could also get a big-ass bag of rice if you want to do it the old-fashioned way. Get yourself a rice cooker and just cook a shitload of rice in advance. And I basically rotated a high day, a medium day, and a low day, where I was doing anywhere from 25 to 50 grams of carbs from the white rice at every single meal. Then I would have a day where I had it at like 3 meals, and then I'd have a day where I only had it in the morning, and then I would rotate and start over. Like, that's just a simple example of a very effective carb rotation that I had in. Now, there was a point where I got a little bit more money, and I was like, all right, now I'm gonna add in some oats, and I'm gonna add in like, some fats. And I would buy a big old bottle of extra virgin olive oil, and you literally just add a tablespoon of it to your rice. And it actually makes the rice better, because it's got that fat on it, so it's like, gooier and tastier. And that's a very simple, poor man's effective diet that's effective. Keep it simple. You can add cream of rice in too, another very cheap way to get good carbs in. I love cream of rice, but I make it different. So, like, the way that I do it, this is how I do my cream of rice, ladies and gentlemen. Thank me for this later. I make it. And when it's out of the microwave, I add sweet and low. I love sweet and low. Fuck stevia and all that natural shit. Stevia is gross. Anybody that's like, you don't have stevia? I'm like, you don't really like stevia. Like when girls drink those stevia sodas, I'm talking about?
No, their brain just thinks
the Zikas or whatever they're called.
Because somebody told them it's better than the other things.
They're like, this tastes just like Diet Dr. Pepper. I'm like, no, it fucking doesn't.
It's like trash.
Gross. You couldn't pay me to drink any of that shit. So I would add sweet and low and cinnamon, right? And then I would stir it all up, and I would put it in the freezer for like 5-10 minutes. And I would take it out, and it'd be like a cold pudding. And it was sweet. And it had the cinnamon on it, which regulates your insulin levels and also makes it taste better. And so it was like almost like a nice little dessert treat that I would eat. And it would be all gooey. Like a lot of people make it with salt, and some people I know put like hot sauce on it and shit, and they eat it hot. It's gross like that.
Dude, honestly, I cannot eat in any fashion simply because of watching Sammy mix his cream of rice with everything. He'll mix it with peanut butter or fish or it's the or protein powder, or like he'll make like protein goop and mix it with rice. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, it's like rice pudding. I'm like, that's not what rice pudding is, Sammy. What are you talking about? That's rice and protein. That's not rice pudding. Like,
he got his back waxed today.
Oh, sexy.
He was showing it off.
Oh, I bet.
All smooth and sleek.
Smooth like a new baby dolphin.
He's very hairy, for those of you that don't know Sammy.
He is the Lebanese nightmare.
He is. There was the Lebanese lion, we have the Lebanese nightmare.
Yes, he is 100%.
So they were talking about how Sammy is as a salesman the other day. And they were like, Sammy doesn't finesse the sale. He like
brute forces it.
He really brute forces it. And sometimes, every now and then, we'll get somebody that's like, yo, this kid's too much. Please tell him to calm down. I've had a guy be like, listen, I talked to him this morning, and when I'm not busy, I will call him back. But if he calls me one more fucking time, I'm not doing business with you anymore. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm sorry. He's very eager to please me and bring money in. He's a young guy and he's a hustler. He is a machine though. I gotta give him that.
Yeah, a machine with no off switch.
He has zero off switch.
Zero off switch.
It's so funny when he gets mad. I watched him. So he was in the gym with Kiara, his girlfriend, who's a Blackstone Labs affiliate. She's in sick shape too. They're like this little mini cute bodybuilding couple. Neither one of them is over 5'2" on a good day.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sammy.
Under 11 feet between the both of them.
They're both jacked. They both walk the same. And they have similar structures. And so Sammy, Kiara does sprints. Did I ever tell you this story? Mm-hmm. So Kiara does sprints for her cardio. It's HIIT cardio. It's very effective. But if you're not somebody that does sprints, you can hurt yourself. So they're very competitive with each other. And he was like, I'm fucking fast.
Oh yeah.
And so he did sprints with her and he like blew out his hamstring. And I'm like, why are you doing stuff like that? Like you shouldn't, like if you're not used to doing that, you can't just start sprinting. I actually did that to myself when I was young. Because I was like, I used to play football, I can do sprints. And I went to the track and I started doing sprints and I was like, fuck, I blew out my hamstring and I had a big bruise. I'm like, why did I do this? It screwed up my contest prep. And so he was in the gym and he was like, Kiara, bodybuilders don't fucking sprint! You're the one who got me to do this. And I was like, oh my God, he's so mad. And Salvino was like, oh my God, what should we do? And I'm like, I'm going to laugh. I don't know if you want to leave, you can leave, but I'm going to just watch this whole thing and laugh.
Walk away and watch
and
the
Kiara was laughing at him, making him madder. She couldn't stop laughing, and I was like, stop laughing at him. He was like, I didn't even want to fucking sprint. You got me sprinting. Now I'm hurt. And it was like, he was yelling while he was on the machine. But then after that, they left all like happy, holding hands and shit.
I can almost imagine before the sprinting happened, he would be like, "You can't sprint more than me. I can sprint faster."
Yeah, he was like, I'm really fast.
I don't
That's how it
think you
started.
understand.
So she was like, well, let's sprint then.
All right, next question is coming from Paul Winchester. He says, PJ, what rep range would you recommend for getting definition while in the cutting phase? I'm a massive fan of yours. Keep up the good work. All the best, Paul.
I get asked this question all the time, and I'm going to tell you how I train, but I'm also going to tell you the thing that I tell everybody else. You can't do what Ronnie Coleman does, or what Branch Coleman does, or what Corey Everson does, or what Rachel McClish does all the time. You got to try everything and see what works the best for you. Because what works for me may not work the right way for you. And what works for some guys, like I watch how Branch Warren trains, I'm like, damn, I don't know how he trains like that. But he's also hurt himself many times. I've watched Kai Green train for like 4 hours on one body part. I'm like, God, how does he train for so long? But that's Kai Green. I've watched Ronnie Coleman train and been like, Jesus, this dude is so strong. How is he not snapping his joints and ligaments off? Well, later in life, he had a lot of injuries. So I don't train super heavy like that anymore. I train with volume. And I feel that if you train at a fast pace with volume, there is a study that shows, by the way, that you will release more growth hormone. And in return, you will build muscle faster and burn fat faster. That is why I train the way that I do. And some people be like, pussy, you don't even train heavy. But like, dude, there was a point where I was strong as an ox. And all it got me was lots of injuries.
Yep.
So my advice is to start incorporating giant sets and supersets and stuff like that. But the key to getting shredded isn't going to be how you train. It's going to be your diet. So if you like the way you train, if you love training, like we all go to the gym because we love to train. Then we start thinking about like, okay, how can I get lean or how can I get bigger, this and that. And that's when you start paying attention to supplements and dieting. And once you master your diet and you're getting effects on your diet, you should train however you please, however you feel is improving your body and giving you the best results. What I do, you might not like. You might be like, fuck this training. I don't like training like this. I want to go back to doing, 4 sets of 8 to 10 reps on each exercise and just leave it at that. Now some of you might be like, man, the burn that you get when you do a rope set supersetted with, a V-bar push down, or giant set when you go from a rope push down to a dip machine to a straight bar push down. The time under tension is so long, the burn is a different kind of burn. So you may feel that you're getting more from that. I did. I trained super heavy when I was young. I was a competitive powerlifter, and my injuries brought me into a different kind of training. And when I switched up my training, I started consistently growing, and I was like, man, I wish that I had figured this out sooner, but you don't know unless you try. It's trial and error.
All right, next question comes from Eric Espinoza. He says, what's up, PJ? I ordered the men's hardcore stack along with the Braun explosion stack. In the diet plan, it says 50 grams of carbs per meal and 2 scoops of Formula 19 in my shake twice a day. My goal is to get as big and as ripped as possible. Since I am at 26% body fat, do you recommend me having that many carbs and sticking to the diet, or should I tweak my diet for the best possible results for the challenge? Thanks for everything you do. It does not go unnoticed, Eric.
Well, I mean, your question, you're kind of contradicting what you want. Because you're saying that you want to get as big as possible, but then you're saying your body fat is 26% and should you remove food? If you remove food, you're not going to get as big as possible. I mean, you'll still be able to build muscle, but you have to figure out what your priorities are at and what you're going for. If your body fat is 26%, it's far too high. I can tell you that right now. You shouldn't be, in my opinion, no human needs to be over like 13% body fat, really. Let's say 16, you can be a little chubby, but I don't think any bodybuilder needs to be over 12% in their off season, which is probably where I'm sitting right now. And I'm not happy at my 12%, that's for sure. But, that's where I'm at. So you have to decide, do you want to be leaner or do you want to get as big as possible? Because if you want to be leaner, I would get you on the ketogenic diet and just start focusing on getting that body fat down. It's going to be a completely different approach. So you have to get yourself prioritized first.
All right, next one comes from Leo V. Says, hey PJ, thanks again for taking the time from your busy days to answer all of our questions on fitness and bodybuilding. It's very much appreciated. I'm very much interested to know exactly how you lost the 31 pounds in 31 days without losing so much muscle, if any. Details as in foods you were eating, supplements, number of meals, gear you were on, cardio sessions, and weightlifting. I'm currently 208, 5'9", and set on making a very dramatic physique transformation for the BPJ contest that I know I'd win. I'm a nursing student, currently working part-time and have a baby on the way. Though my wife works full-time, $10,001 would definitely put my worries aside about finances once the baby's here. I have all the motivation dedicated and tools, I just need the game plan. Thanks again, you the man, Blackstone Lab subs for life.
Hell yeah. All right, I think I put this one last because I wanted to really get into this because a lot of people have asked me this. Is this the last one?
This is the last one.
All right, so I did this on purpose because this one's not something that for starters, I would like to preface this by saying that I don't think that it is smart for people to do things like this. And I think that, all right, I'm going to walk you through what I did step by step. But I have been doing this for a very long time. I have gone through lots of grueling, long contest diets, and I know my limitations, which are very few. But I also knew that if I took the approach that I was going to take, there would only be a certain amount of time that my body would be able to really like hold up. And the amount of time that I antiquated in my mind was 30 days. In my mind, I was like, I can do this for 30 days before I crash and burn really bad. And so I came out the gate full speed. You know, I ease people into things. And, you know, sometimes I start people harder than others, but I don't go like, okay, we're going full speed on day one. I find that many people break down fast when you do that. Many people get discouraged, and many people just simply can't do it. But I can work harder than the average person. I can starve myself more than the average person. I can put myself through a lot more pain than the average person. So knowing that, what I did was for 30 days, I worked out every single day. I had a 5-day split. So day 1 was legs, day 2 was chest, day 3 was back, day 4 was shoulders, day 5 was arms. The reason that I structured it like that is because it gave my body parts that have the injuries, mainly shoulders, breaks. So I didn't want my chest and shoulder today to be too close together because I didn't want to overload that joint. So that's why I broke it down the way I did. And I went literally for 30 days, every single day to the gym to train. So I had no days off, which is not something that I recommend. I always recommend everybody have 1 off day, sometimes 2. Like once I get into my maintenance mode, I'll have 2 off days. I'll take off Wednesdays and Sundays. Like a break in the middle of the week so I'm fresh for the latter half of the week. And I usually put 2 hard workouts in the beginning of the week and then I come back with a hard workout. But for this phase, I worked out every day. So it was legs, chest, back, shoulders, arms, repeat. 30 days of that. Now with that, I would wake up every morning and I would do an hour of cardio. And at night, I would do another hour of cardio. So I was doing 2 hours of cardio every single day. Now, as I went on and the drive to drop fat became stronger and stronger and stronger, I added in a 3rd session of cardio. So I was doing 3 hours of cardio the last like 7 to 10 days. So this is not something that I recommend people doing, but in my mind, I was like, I'm just going to get as much out of my body as I can for these last few days. So realistically, no one should ever have to do more than 2 hours of cardio to get in shape. But sometimes if you're wanting to go hard and you know you got it in you, you can do it. You know, don't let anybody tell you can't. And there's people that run 26 miles for marathons. You know, the average bodybuilder can't even run a mile. So don't let anyone tell you that you can't do something. So I was working out every day, doing cardio every day, at least twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day. With that, I was on a carb cycle, 1 day high, 3 days low. Now, all of my food was fish. It was literally nothing but fish. And if it wasn't fish, it was whey protein isolate. So no red meat, no chicken, no eggs, just fucking fish. And I eat red snapper. That's the fish that I eat. So on my high day, I was doing 25 grams of carbs at the first 4 meals. So that's nothing, guys. That's nothing. That ain't shit. It's 100 grams of carbs. And sometimes one of my carb sources would be Formula 19, depending on where I was training, and it would be just 1 scoop. And then after my workout, I would have 1 serving of cream of rice. So it was very, very, very mild, my high day. My low days, I was simply having carbs at the first meal, 25 grams, and that's it. And I would do that for 3 days in a row. And then I would go back to the high day, and then I would go 3 days in a row. And I did that for a month. So I was essentially starving myself, doing up to 3 hours of cardio a day. And I was training every single day, hard and fast. And I was taking Trojan Horse twice a day. I was taking L-carnitine before every cardio session and before my workouts. What else was I taking? I was taking 25 mcgs of T3 every morning, which is pretty conservative. A milligram of Arimidex every day, which I do year round anyway because my body cranks out estrogen. And I was drinking like 1.5 to 2 gallons of water a day to flush everything out. So I was essentially starving and overtraining, but I knew that my body could handle it for 30 days. Let me tell you something. The last like 7 to 10 days, like I didn't have sex. Like I didn't have it in me. You know, I had the energy to just get through what I had to get through. And it takes like an inner craziness to do that to yourself. Some people have that and some people don't. If you believe that you have that in you and you can suffer, then by all means do it and suffer. But when I got to day 30, I was like, all right, I'm gonna back off now and chill. Unfortunately, right after that, I would have been in a great spot to start like maintaining and everything, is when all the bad stuff with my grandma went down and she passed away, and that was when I fell off the wagon and stopped training and started drinking a lot, and you know, I got myself back into not nearly as out of shape as I was, but out of shape and out of the gym. So, you know, I went from one extreme to the other, sadly. Now, I am going a lot smarter with what I'm doing. I am pushing myself hard, but I'm on a straight ketogenic diet, so I'm eating 6 meals a day. And if you guys are curious of my diet, I'll throw it out there. This is what I'm eating currently. I just started my transformation, and I do for breakfast, I do 4 whole eggs with about 2 ounces of ground turkey, and I use the fattier ground turkey, 93% or 90% lean, depending on where you're shopping, and 1 piece of cheese with about 8 to 10 asparagus spears. My second meal is 8 ounces of red snapper, again asparagus. My third meal is 8 ounces of red snapper, again asparagus. So I'm not eating fats at either of those 2 meals. And then my fourth meal is either ground turkey and a salad or asparagus, or steak. And then meal 5 is literally just either it's ground turkey or steak. I'm doing 1 red meat meal a day. And if I don't eat red meat, I have salmon at that meal instead. And meal 6 is I do a heaping scoop of isolation. So I don't do 2 scoops like most bodybuilders. I do a heaping scoop. So let's just say it's 35-ish as far as grams of protein, with a serving of sugar-free Metamucil and a heaping tablespoon of peanut butter. And I blend it all up, and I usually throw some juiced up in there. And eventually I'll start throwing glutamine in there, and I blend that up, and I drink that before bed. I take all the vitamins that I wrote into your plans. I take a lot of VSL number 3. I take probably like anywhere from 5 to 6 VSL number 3s a day. I told most of you guys that you only need 1 or 2 a day, but I like to take it with more than a couple meals. Just I find that you digest so much more efficiently, and I don't like feeling bloated. I'm drinking about 1 gallon of water a day. I just added in literally 2 days ago some diet soda, just because I was like, I want something with taste, just because I'm in that beginning stage where like you're hungry, you know. So I like Diet Dr. Pepper, and I like Diet Root Beer. I'm using Hype pre-workout. I'm using coffee before my cardio, and right now I'm just doing 45 minutes to an hour a day, but I've been adding a little bonus session in at night to get some extra cardio Q&A in for you guys, because I know so many of you guys have lots of questions, and I want to make sure you're all being coached properly. Some of you have gone out and hired a coach. That's great. If you want more individualized attention, that's the way to do it. But I'm feeling great. It's the best I've felt in a long time. And I believe that I will beat everybody. And I'm a nice guy. Don't worry about it. I'm not going to keep the money to myself. I just want to beat you all as far as transformation goes. So I will still pick a winner if I win. Because I did win the first ever beat PJ. Which was pretty cool, because I fucking busted my ass for that one. I lost like 37 pounds. And I was like torturing myself like I did, you know, for that 30-day challenge. I did it for almost the whole thing. This time I'm going to do it a lot smarter. I'm nowhere near as fat this time. I'm just soft. I weighed myself this morning. I was 229.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, so I think I'll probably end up somewhere in the low 220s. So it's not going to be a big change as far as weight, but my body is going to it's going to look a lot different and feel a lot different. I also started recomp, and I'm very sorry to rub it in your guys' faces, because I know you all want your recomp. There was a bottle that was here from a return, and I took it. I'm selfish. I know it. I could have sent it out to one of you who's been waiting. But there's so many of you that are waiting that I figured I should just keep this for myself.
Fuck it, I'll eat them.
I'm looking at it as a science experiment, so I can better explain to you guys the benefits, because I know the science behind it, but I want to see what it actually does to me. So I started taking it this weekend, and we'll see. I am actually transforming already. I'm pretty pleased. And I mentally am the best I've been in many years, to be honest. And that's good. It's a good thing. All positives, you know.
Well, we ripped through these questions pretty quickly. I don't know if you wanted to touch up on any other subjects like the Legion or anything.
Of course,
like
I want to talk about the Legion.
Awesome. So we've had a couple people, like you said, requesting faster response times and things like that. So last night I was up pretty late dealing with some of the backed up things, and every now and again, you know, things will get out of order with the call center. In case you guys don't know, just to give you a little bit of a rundown, if you're in the Legion and you don't know this, maybe because the email went to your spam folder or because you missed this part of the instructions when I had sent it out to you, you actually are assigned to your own personal rep who is going to get you a bigger discount than your own 10% that you advertise on your page. And they're going to help you get you know, any information you need. You know, they're always there to help you out, whether you're on the BPJ or not. You know, your rep is always there to help you understand the products better. So that way there, when people are asking you questions about the products, you actually know what to say. And how to utilize them, you know, yourself the most efficiently. So if you haven't been contacted by your rep, what you can do is either call into the Blackstone Labs Customer Service Center and just tell them, hey, you know, I'm in the Legion, can you check my name or my code for the roster? And you'll already have a rep assigned to you. So if they haven't reached out to you, that may be because they did reach out to you and went to your spam folder, or maybe you thought it was something else, or they may have had a typographical error or something. But every single person in the Legion should have had an email by their muscle boy to reach out to them and let them know that they can hook them up if they have any questions, and just let you know, like, you know, you're part of the team, and we want to make sure that you have any and all of the information that, you know, you might be curious about, you know, whether that's utilizing it for your own personal gain or for if, you know, you have people DMing you about the products that you're promoting.
Very good points. And yesterday, while we're on the subject of the Legion, I pulled out the first ever Legion member and moved her, Samantha Rogel, into full-time sponsorship. And I've gotten so many questions from Legion members who are like, how am I supposed to be posting? Like, what am I supposed to be doing? Follow her. Follow Samantha Rogel. Like, you want a spot at the table with the big boys at Blackstone Labs, like, you got to do this right. You got to impress us. Like, you got to show us how diehard you are and how much you want to be a part of this. Like, I have people that come to me with their managers, because I've worked with all types of big names at this point. Everybody wants to work with Blackstone Labs. And I have managers that come to me with girls whose names I'm not going to say, you know who they are, that have like 7 million followers, 8 million followers. I'm like, not interested. I can just tell by the way her page is that it's not something that's going to work for me. She doesn't post nearly enough. We're more aggressive with our posting. Some people may call it spammy. I don't believe in that. I believe if you're following somebody, that means you want to see what they're doing. So if I'm following somebody and they don't post much, then I'm like, this person sucks.
Yeah.
So I post all day for you guys, and I figure they're following me because they want to see shit.
Right.
So I might as well give them shit, and I give a variety of shit. And if you're trying to get my attention, you better be posting a lot. Because if you're not posting, I'll tell you right now, I can start firing off names of people who post a lot. Dragon Izumi posts like crazy. I love that shit. Those are the people that are going to get moved up. So Sam, she was somebody that was already using Blackstone Labs for a while first. Posts great content. She's a beast in the gym. She's a mom, you know, like, to be fit like that and be a beast in the gym and also have to take care of babies. I mean, it's a lot of work. She's always got a positive attitude. Like, model yourself off of her. And I'm not just saying go be a mom and a power lifter, guys. But the way that she does it, that's how I want it done. Like, she did it to a T, the way that I want it, and that's why she got the first spot at the table. Now, I might start picking people out once a month. I don't know. We'll see how good you guys do. Some of you that are good right out the gate, I'm not going to move you up right away because I want to see consistency. And that's what I told Josh in the beginning. I said, I'm going to give this 90 days before I pick anybody out because I want to see how consistent these people can be. And some of you have done a fantastic job. Audrey Lynn and Dragon Izumi that won the Customers of the Month are people that I suggest you guys also check out if you're in the Legion.
Absolutely.
They're on point with what they do. I mean, there's so many ideas that I have when it comes to posts that I can't post all the shit that I want to do in a day. I have so many ideas. Like, you can't tell me. I have people that are like, I can't post 4 times a week. I'm like, you can't post 4 times a week? I'm like, I can't even get my posts all in one day. You're telling me you can't post 4 times in a week? You're not going to be sponsored by my company, period. That's just the way that it works. So these are people that I suggest you check out and follow. And work with your reps. You all have reps assigned to you now. I know some of you are like, oh, my rep didn't get back to me. Give them some time. They're going to get back to you. They're not going to blow you off. And I've laid the law down on those guys on getting back to you. So they know that their job, part of their job now, is getting back to Legion members. And I said, listen, your jobs have changed a little bit. You're going to be doing a little more customer service and some relationship stuff with the Legion, but it's going to be good for you in the end. So help coach these guys. Be on point with them. Some of the guys love their reps. Some of them have said, my rep doesn't get back to me fast. But that's all sorted out now. So learn from the best, follow your peers that are doing good, and tag me, of course. I've always tagged Blackstone. Some of you guys don't even have your Legion code in your bio. I mean, that's a huge...
Which definitely hurts you. Every month when I check it, like that's actually part of your requirements. If you don't meet that requirement, you're 1 point off of getting your credit. So
Yep.
if you have 12 posts, but you don't have your code in your bio...
No, I had a kid that was like, I tag you and everything. And I looked at his page and I was like, I see that I'm tagging everything, but like your page doesn't say anything about Blackstone Labs at all. Like I see a couple Blackstone posts, but like you have nothing in your bio. You don't have your discount code in your bio. How am I supposed to? To me, I'm like, oh, okay, this kid's just a fan. You know,
that's another thing that maybe we should touch on. And even though, again, it is in the instructions when you do join the Legion, being part of the Legion isn't just hashtagging Blackstone Labs or hashtagging Legion Loyal or hashtagging or tagging PJ Braun or myself. It actually entails you promoting your code and letting people know, why they should use your code on what products and how you use them in your daily life. A lot of people, go through and just add Blackstone Labs hashtag to their old posts and they think that's going to get them credit, and unfortunately it's not. And also stories as well. Stories, because they disappear after 24 hours, they will not add up and credit you at the end of the month because there's no way for us to record that, unfortunately, with the software that is available for Instagram in this program. There's no way for us to have a list of getting a number that's getting larger by the hundreds almost daily to keep track of people's stories every 24 hours. It's just not doable right now. So definitely make sure that you're tagging your actual code to use on the website. And going back to what PJ said a little bit about Samantha getting upgraded from the Legion, to shed a little bit of light on this situation for you guys. Me and PJ are very close. We talk a lot about the people that join the Legion, and when we see somebody that's interesting.
Yes, we do.
when I see somebody that's interesting, I walk my happy little ass down to PJ's office and I say, we got to keep our eye on this one. And Sam, we've been watching her since day one. The first day that she joined the Legion, me and PJ were already looking at her thinking, this is hands down going to be one of the best members. She is badass, she is strong, and this is what we want for this whole program to be modeled after. So it's not like we don't see everybody. We do see everybody. Some of you that aren't tagging and aren't posting as much, you may not be at the top of the notifications list anywhere near as much as some of these other people like Dragoni Zumi and Lily Lil. There's a couple people that post religiously every day, multiple times a day. So people that are saying they can't get 3 or 4 posts in a week, it's just really comes down to how bad do you want it and how bad do you want to prove to us that you are Blackstone Labs and Legion Loyal. To be honest with you guys, going through all of the applications for the Legion, we've had somebody that's in the UFC apply to the Legion, and we've also had somebody who is in the Olympics also apply to the Legion. And not them in particularly, but we also have people that they apply to the Legion and they think that it's some kind of an insult that we don't immediately create a full-time athlete sponsorship for them because of this show they won or this trophy they have or this pro status there, and that's really not what the Legion is about. That's not what Blackstone Labs is about. Blackstone Labs is based off of loyalty being everything. So you can't just be loyal for a month and expect to be bumped up to an athlete position. That's not what this program is about.
Those that are doing it right and tagging me, there are people that are already on my mind for the customer of the month, and it's the first day of the month. So stay consistent. I mean, Josh said it great. Just stay consistent, do it right, and we're watching you.
We might even be watching some of you that don't even think that we're watching.
Exactly, and
we have no idea.
We like to be sneaky like that.
We have multiple troll accounts we spy on people from.
What else do we have going on? We have the hoodies. By the time this podcast gets out, the hoodies will be out there being sold. Oh, you know what we're gonna do?
They drop them today or tomorrow?
Tomorrow morning, or no, 1 o'clock tomorrow. So everybody, by the time they've been available for 24 hours by the time you're listening to this. Something that we're gonna do, I want everybody to listen to this because it's pretty cool. Anytime we talk about a product on the show, I told David we're gonna make a podcast discount code. I haven't decided what it's gonna be yet, but it's gonna be decent. It's gonna be a decent discount code, minimum 20%.
Okay.
And so if somebody asks about like Methaquad, we're gonna answer the question and say anybody that's interested in purchasing Methaquad because of this, you can use code, ask PJ, whatever, or maybe we might just make it like the name of the product,
Methaquad PJ.
Yeah. And you'll get this discount off of it.
Awesome.
Just for the loyal podcast listeners, just to give you guys something extra. And guys, Legion members, the quickest way to my heart, repost our stuff. Repost the podcast stuff. When we put out a sale video, put that stuff out. Repost our marketing content. you don't have to repost like me with my snakes or like me dicking around at the office, But if we're putting out something that's pure marketing, like something that would be in a magazine or on a TV commercial, or me explaining something new that we have going on, repost that stuff because that's part of what we want to see out of you guys. And I want the Legion's growing fast, but I want the Legion to be enormous. I want thousands of people in the Legion. I want world domination. I want there to be Blackstone Labs t-shirts everywhere I look, everywhere in the country. And it's starting to happen, and I love it. I want more. So you have friends that work out, that are in good shape, invite them. Bring them.
The Legion is going to be a force to be reckoned with. By the end of the year, the Legion will have programs and opportunities implemented within it that is not available at any other company, that is unheard of, that is going to be completely groundbreaking for the industry, that is going to clearly set us apart from every other bullshit ambassador program that's out there.
Yeah, and there's a reason why I do things the way I do them, and I'm going to do what I want, when I want, the way that I want, and this is what I believe is the best way to do it. So does Josh. We believe in this very strongly, and I had a conversation with Fabian, my head of international sales, who's been in the industry for like 20 years, who worked with MHP forever, and he was saying like, we brought up this guy that was bashing me, and he was saying honestly, PJ, he was like, so many company owners bash you. He was like, you think you got haters online? He's like, all these guys that own the companies bash you too, but you're just doing it in a way that nobody else has done it, and you've done it faster. People don't like the success that you've had, and I'm like, well, too bad. I don't give a shit about any of them. I care about my family. I care about everybody that's in here. I care about everybody who's a part of my life as far as the Legion and social media and my good followers. I don't care about the trolls. They don't bother me. I think a lot of the shit they say is funny. I think a lot of them are annoying. But I'm not going to ever be fazed by any of it, and I'm not going to stop being positive and doing the things that I do because I believe that I'm right. So to me, in life, there's nothing that's stronger than belief. Like if there's guys that blow themselves up because they believe they're going to get virgins when they die. I mean, that's dumb, but hey, they believe in it, right?
What a shitty gig.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shitty gig. I'm going to go blow my body up. Praise the Lord, blow myself up. Sorry if that offended anybody that's listening to this. But, I do a lot of things that are crazy. They're not the equivalent to blowing myself up, but I do things that I believe in. When you believe in something, it makes it real. That's what's beautiful about belief. Like if you believe in something that hard, it makes it real, and it's just your reality. And I have my vision, and I'm sticking to what I'm doing. I do think that in many ways we had a lot of success fast with Blackstone because perhaps we were lucky. But I think luck happens for a reason. We were in the right place at the right time for a reason. And we've had our hard streaks. We're in a bad hard streak right now, but I still believe in everything that we're doing, that we're going to come out on top. And I'm not afraid of the FDA. They're driving me insane, but I'm going to still keep on putting out awesome products and fighting to keep my awesome products on the shelves and in your hands. And that's why we do everything that we do. I wish that it was easier. It was a lot easier in the first 3 years. I'm in year 7 now. Jeez, no. What year is this? 2018?
Yeah.
I'm in year 6. Gave myself an extra year.
Yeah, 6.
Still, seems like a lot more than 6.
It's just this last one has felt like 6.
Yeah, this last one.
just the last 12 months has felt.
But
like 6 years.
I'm like, man, 2018 has to be better than 2017.
Well, it's like one of those things where if something's bad for a certain period of time, now we're just looking at like a crazy spike in positivity. This whole place is going to be like just swirling with great news.
Wilson Phillips songs and just positive energy and.
Maybe we can even get some like Bob Ross paintings in here, something so happy little trees just to improve the mood.
Hell yeah! Should I tell everybody who DM'd me today?
Oh, that's no, I don't know because
I don't know that he will listen to the podcast.
I don't know. I don't really think he would listen to the podcast, but I think we might want to keep that in the
We'll keep that quiet
keep
for
that
now.
in our back pocket.
We keep that in my back pocket. You might see this guy in here though. I had the Real Tarzan was awesome yesterday. If you guys are not following him, what this guy's doing is so cool. He's basically the new Steve Irwin. He rescues animals, but he does crazy stuff. He climbs trees. He has a picture on his social media with the world's biggest rabbit, which terrified me. It was terrifying. It was like the sign of like a Saint. It was literally, I'm not exaggerating. I'll show you a picture after this of like a Saint Bernard.
A rabbit the size of a
I will
Saint
not
Bernard
go
is on his
near. I will
profile.
not
It's on
go
his profile?
near this. It was in his Insta story yesterday. I'll find it for you. It's probably on his profile. I just didn't look, but it was in his Insta story. Cool ass guy. Played college wide receiver. Good athlete. Got into working out. Knew about Blackstone Labs. I love animals and shit. Found his page. I was like, dude, this guy's like my hero. Like, I don't really look up to many people, but I was like, this guy's amazing. He goes out at night on these excursions, getting alligators and iguanas and all kinds of crazy shit, giant snakes. He's an awesome, awesome dude. And he came in here to hang out. I hooked him up with a bunch of supplements. And hopefully we wind up doing something with him. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, like he was definitely good energy. I mean, he likes shoes, so
Yep. Can't go wrong when you like shoes.
Can't go wrong with like
very,
shoes.
very shoe friendly environment here. There's a lot of shoe shopping that goes on here with the boys.
Trevor gets at least 5 shoe shipments a week.
Yeah, Trevor is the worst. He's the oldest one.
Between 5 to 15.
I am wearing dress shoes every day. So for me, it's like they're like Jordan this, Jordan's that. You know, Yeezys. I'm like Prada, Ferragamo. I'm working the suit angle for a while now. That's my angle.
Well, the rest of us don't have that refined taste yet. We're not in that sweet spot in our life.
Well,
we still got some young debaucherous outfits to throw together. We can't all pull off the 3-piece suit, man.
Keep it comfy. Keep it comfy.
Oh man.
Well, on that note, I think we're good to shut down. We're having a lot of fun, Josh and I. Josh is like my little brother. Tristan and Josh are like my two like Blackstone like brothers that I spend most of my time with. Like I am older now. My birthday's coming up. I'm going to be 37. I'm pretty much already 37. I mean, my birthday's in like a couple of days. So, and it makes me feel youthful to be around them. They're 10 years or more younger than me. And I have very good times with them. And I'm a kid at heart. And I think I always will be, regardless of my role as CEO of this company. A lot of people are like, you know, you should drop all the Jay Master stuff and not talk about punching him in the face. I'm like, why? Punching people in the face is fun.
Always has.
Just because I'm old doesn't mean I can't punch somebody in the face. I mean, I'll get sued a lot worse now.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens, but it's not like, you know, it makes it impossible.
They're like, you can't buy a flamethrower. I'm like, why? Why wouldn't I want to have
Why
a
can't we
flamethrower?
buy 2 flamethrowers?
I think we should. They're not
have,
that expensive.
We should both have a flamethrower on each side of the Ferrari while we go driving.
My objective, guys, now that you heard this on here, is by the next podcast, I want you guys to be able to know that we have flamethrowers. I'm going to get to work on that right
Should we
away.
just go get them now?
I don't know where you go and purchase
There
one.
has to be a flamethrower store nearby.
Well, I found the website online. They're $600.
Do they have any retailers in Boca?
They're crazy, too. They're awesome.
I want to know if you can adjust the length of where it shoots.
Honestly, Salvia's such a good girlfriend that she might have, even for my birthday, got me a flamethrower. So maybe I should.
I think she would have already told me, and she hasn't told me.
Yeah, no, she just told me don't buy any socks. Socks, flamethrower. Yeah.
Well, I think so if you get a flamethrower, it's kind of like, you know, when you were a kid and you got like a laser tag system. Like you can't just get one. Like you have to get enough for everybody to play. Like so, if we get one flamethrower, we should really get like 10.
Well,
because then everybody can burn it.
that's $6,000. I mean, we got to find some place to go and like use these.
Or maybe
things.
5.
I'm gonna use them right outside because we got a lake right there. Worst case scenario, you burn down a palm tree.
Yeah, I mean
That's worst case scenario.
it's Florida. It's not like, you know, California where everything catches on fire out here. Everything's really wet all the time, so like fires don't spread quick. We'll be responsible.
I wanted to get, and honestly, we entertained this. So I wanted to, because this is going back to the Game of Thrones thing. I wanted to get
The Throne of Stones.
No, I wanted to fucking launch shit at Redcon because they're right across the pond, and you can get those contraptions that what are they called?
A catapult.
Catapult. They have ones that they have at carnivals that launch like pumpkins and shit. And like I was like, yo, let's light a dust on fire and just launch it at Redcon, and it would absolutely hit their building. It would 100%. That's how strong. I was online. The rentals are like $3,000 a day. It's not cheap.
Damn.
It's an expensive joke.
That could be worth it.
It could be worth it. I paid $2,000 to fuck with 5%ers a couple years ago.
Depending on the level of video footage.
Were you with the company when I did that?
I was there when, like, I have a couple of the jugs at my house, but I think the joke had, like, just ended when I got hired.
Yeah, it was a big deal. So it was a joke that, like, a lot of people don't understand my humor, but I'm in the gym, right? And everyone's like, yo, did you see the Del Rey Misfits podcast or this or that? Or, you know, back then it was Rich Piana. You know, the Del Rey Misfits were, you know, still little sperms in their daddy's penises.
There were tiny fish in the pond back then.
They're all older than me, but they were still sperms in my book.
Swimming in their daddy's nutsack.
So, back then, before the Del Rey Misfits, my I guess online rival was Rich Piana, right? So I didn't know shit about 5%. I'm busy like trying to run a business, right? I don't have time to watch his YouTube videos. Eventually I did. So I'm in the gym and I keep on seeing these people carrying around these 5% gallons, right? Then finally one day I'm like, what the fuck are these 5% gallons? So I went up to this guy and this girl and I was like, hey, what does that 5% mean? And they were like, you don't know? And they were like, it's Rich Piana. And then they explained the whole thing, like, you know, only like 5% of the population can like do what they do or like be what they are, and it's not. I was like, well, mathematically, that's still a lot of people.
Yeah.
Bodybuilding, it's actually like less than 1%.
Yeah, there's no way.
It's truly less than 1%.
Yeah.
So I was like, I mean, I'm gonna make it accurate and make a less than 1% gallon. So I told them my joke. I was like, I really don't want to sell gallons. I want to do it just to like bust their nuts because their math is like
way
stupid.
off.
It's way off. It's just it's not something to be proud of if you're part of 5%.
There's how many people in the world?
Yeah, I want to be in the 99th percentile. Fuck that.
Yeah.
You know. So we searched around, and David found them. He was like, I found gallons, but you have to buy like 1,000 of them, and they're $2 each. I'm like, so $2,000. He's like, yeah, for a joke. I was like, let's do it.
Yeah, good joke.
So what we did was, Rich Piano is obviously, rest in peace, by the way. He was a giant, giant man. And in the beginning of his videos, I started researching him. He would have like, he had the whole like Roman helmet on and stuff. And he was like, "Ah, I'm Rich
blood
Piano."
splattered.
Yeah, blood splattered out. So we had just hired this kid, Alex Roman, who was like on his best day, soaking wet with like a full sweatsuit on and like 5-pound dumbbells in his pockets, 125 pounds. Skinny little wimpy kid, right? Sorry, Alex. I know you're not listening to this though. So I mean, a tiny little kid, right? So I was like, "Yo, you're gonna be Rich Piana in the video." And so we got him a helmet, like a Trojan helmet and a sword, and we made him come up from the water, from the lake back there, and be like, "Rah, I'm Rich Piana, less than 1%." And then I jumped in and I was like, "Less than 1% of the people out there can be what Blackstone Labs athletes are." And then we had the blood splatter all over the screen, like
It's fucking hilarious.
And so we posted it, and then like a little bit of time goes by, and all of a sudden, everyone in the office upstairs is like, "Yeah!" like cheering and clapping, and I'm like, "What? And they're like, "Rich Piana just fucking ripped you apart on Instagram," and I'm like, "He did," and they're like, "Go on, one day you may," and he shredded Blackstone Labs. It was so funny, 'cause that's exactly what I wanted him to do. Like, he fell into my trap. And then we got a shitload of attention on us from all the 5%ers, which, did we need extra attention? No, but I mean, in my opinion, like, publicity like that doesn't hurt you.
It's always good.
No, because then a bunch of 5%ers after that were like, when Rich passed away, like, they were like loyal to him, you know? And I'm not saying this to shit on 5% or anybody else out there, but a lot of those 5%ers came to me and they were like, "Hey, what Blackstone Labs product would compare to this?"
Right.
And I would go look at the product and I'd be like, "You'd want to try Dust."
Mm-hmm.
And or somebody would be like, "What would compare to this?" And I'd be like, "Oh, you would want to try, fast food." And dude, lots of them, some of them are in the Legion now.
Yeah,
by the way.
I've noticed.
You notice, right?
Yeah.
So for the people that say I push snake oil, why don't you try your products? Anytime somebody says that to me, I'm like, "I'll send you a free one."
Yeah.
You know,
By all means, we'll send you a Methaquad because
Yeah.
that's hands down. Like, take that shit before the gym, you're gonna be fucked up.
when you're done, when you're done getting laid and breaking records in the gym, you can thank me.
Yeah, you're gonna be done
pay
with
for
your
the
workout.
next
Like, damn, the snake oil was so fucking good. I need more of that shit.
This guy made fun of my suit yesterday. He was like, "You should kill your tailor."
The pimp in purple suit.
Yeah, he was like, "You should kill your tailor." He was like, "I wouldn't be caught dead in that suit. That's disgusting." He like was very like passionate about it. And my response to him, all I wrote back was, "One day I'll teach you how to get laid."
Yeah, I mean, maybe if he could dress himself.
Yeah, start dressing like this.
Well, that's what happens. You got to take a little bit of some notes out of the Dapper Don's book and
Yeah.
apply them to your own life sometimes.
Every girl's crazy about a sharp-dressed man.
I've heard that. I've actually heard that before. I don't know where, but I've definitely heard that before.
There might be a song about it. On that note, I want to start wrapping things up because I have to go to the chiropractor because I have a rib out, which is fun.
Not a ribeye, a rib out.
No, I wish I had a rib out. I have a rib out. You know what's funny about keto diets in the beginning, and I'll stay on keto for a couple of years after this because I just like being lean. You notice carbs like only when you're on a keto diet. Like girls are different. Girls are like, I can't. I want bread. Like why do you want bread?
I've never understood that.
I want bread so bad. Sometimes I go to the bakery and I just smell everything. Smell the goodness.
I don't even want the sugar in the pastries.
No.
Stupid.
But you know what I want right now? I have so many of them in my cabinet from fucking Trevor.
I was gonna say
Tim Tams.
Tim Tams.
They're so good.
You just bring them to my house.
You used to have to go all the way to Australia to get Tim Tams. I'll give them to you if you just take them because I can't eat them.
Yeah, I will eat them.
I'm going to have a cheat meal of just all Tim Tams.
I'm
Maybe.
bulking.
You're bulking? You can have my Tim Tams. All right, guys. Give us feedback on the show. Love to hear your feedback. You can DM me if you want about the feedback or just post about it. But you can find the show on SoundCloud, iTunes, and, of course, on our website. And I record every Thursday, and we post on Saturday mornings. The email is askpjbraun@blackstonelabs.com. I think that's it. Are we good?
If you have any Legion questions or if you want to join the Legion, the email is sponsor@blackstonelabs.com. No S at the end, just sponsor@blackstonelabs.com. Make sure to include all your relevant social media and some photos of yourself. I also just wanted to say thanks to everybody that gave me love as the new host here on the podcast.
Yes.
And I think that'll close it out for us.